Now, let's talk about long-term tension combined with the short-term events to create a global crisis. Let's take a moment to reflect on the human cost of these causes. Millions of people would lose their lives in the coming conflict or coming years. Entire generation would be scared by the horrors of a modern warfare. The world map would be redrawn and the old empires would crumble. Now let's talk about harsh reality of strange warfare. It's 1916 and if you are a young soldier on the Western Front, this is your strange and it's where you will eat, sleep and fight. The first thing that hit you is the smell. It's a mix of mud, rotting food and the human waste. The bad smell is overwhelming and it never goes away. This offers some protection from enemy fire, but they are far from perfect. Your daily routine starts early, usually before daybreak. You are woken up for a stand to, where everyone prepares for a possible enemy attack. During the war, there is always work to be done. You might be preparing a damaged section of the trench, or you could be on watch duty, watching for any sign of enemy's movement. Mealtime are very fresh, but don't expect much. Your food often consists of beef, hard biscuits, and tea. If you are lucky, you might get some jams or cheese. Water is limited and often contaminated. Many soldiers suffer from dysentery and other illnesses. As the night falls, the real dangers begin. This is when most raids and the attacks happens. You stand guard, watching in the darkness. The constant fear of enemy assaults keep you on edge. Your bed is usually just a wooden board or muddy ground. Rats around feeding on whatever they can find. Speaking of mud, is everywhere. When it rains, the trenches turn into mud. The constant stress and the trauma leave lasting scars. Friendship formed in the trenches are intense and often short-lived. You rely on your fellow soldiers for survivals, but many don't make it home. The trenches become a powerful symbol of the war. Now, let's explore some of the major battles that define this conflict. First up is the Battle of Marne in 1914. This battle took place near Paris, France. In the war's early stage, the German army was advancing rapidly, threatening to capture the French capital. In a desperate move, French and the British forces counterattacked. They used taxis to support or transport troops to the front, earning it the nickname the Miracle of the Marne. This battle halted the German advance and set the stage for strange warfare. Next, we have Battle of Verdun in 1916. This was one of the longest and the bloodiest battle in the human history. It lasted for 300 days and resulted over 700,000 casualties. The German army attacked the French city of Verdun. Their goal was to bleed France white by forcing them to defeat or defend their symbolic location. Despite heavy losses, the French held on, declaring they shall not pass. Verdun became the symbol of French determination and the sacrifice. Now let's talk about the Battle of Somme, also in 1916. This Anglo-French offensive was meant to relieve pressure on Verdun. It began with a week-long artillery bombardment of German lines. On 1st July, Britain troops went over the top to attack. The first day alone, Britain suffered 60,000 casualties. The battle dragged on for a month, gaining little ground at the terrible cost. By the end, over millions men were killed or wounded. In 1917, we have the Battle of Pas-Chain-d'Alais, also known as the Third Battle of Ypres. This battle took place in the Belgium and is remembered for its horrific conditions. Heavy rains turned the battlefield into the muddy. Men and the horses drowned in the mud, and many bodies were never recovered. The battle lasted for 3 months and gained only a few miles of territory. It's often seen as the example of war futility and the human cost.